So our district, even before the change, had a 15 hours requirement for professional development. So we have that now. We changed that a little bit this school year, but it still is in place, and it's really, unfortunately, is fairly unmotivational. It is more, and some of the teachers will agree more or less with me on this, but it's more a hoops to jump through in order to meet the requirement, so you don't get turned down or your evaluation isn't lesser because you didn't make it. But it's a requirement to do 15 hours. But then again, the requirement is to develop better teaching in the classroom. Unfortunately, sometimes you get this, well, I went to a conference for the day and it was supposed to be 8 hours. Well, they actually talked 8.5. So can I get 8.5 hours credit instead of 8 hours credit towards my 15 hours? And again, the focus should be on what did you learn on the day rather than, and that's, I'm not, again, being critical of the teacher or the administrator that's working with them on that. That's just kind of what sometimes it has turned out to be. But the 15 hours, again, the administration evaluations are required. That's what I said where we ran into the time, and it contributed points on that scorecard, which, again, the scorecard was kind of unworkable because there was not a lot of ability to always manage their ability to get the scores on the card. So we started reviewing the compensation model, and I talked just a little bit earlier about that. We asked for 20 or so volunteers and got more than that again this year. There is some frustration on the part, which I totally understand, the changeover in administrators. The compensation committee is an advisory one, and we've always said that that's the case. It's advisory. I mean, ultimately, I or even Don doesn't have these decisions are made by you. So I wanted to at least recognize and mention the contributions that they made. These are all the people that you see. They were from all over, all the different districts. But this was not. We did not limit. We did not try and go a certain number from each district, or excuse me, each building or each level. But we did get a really good number. And not everybody attended every meeting, but for the most part, they all have had a major contribution to this. What I'd like to talk now is the committee has developed a lot of ideas, and we went through a number of meetings about what's good with the current plan, what's bad about the current plan, what's not to get away from. I posted on one meeting, we had a real cafe type environment, if you're familiar with that, a real miniature one, but ended up with 4 pages. They're all up there behind you. And these are what came out of that, and those pages helped me. This is the summary, okay, that I did of the ideas. Sally, do you still want to? You were willing to talk a little bit. You said you were willing. Are you still willing to talk about this a little bit? Okay. Does everybody know Sally? Hi, Sally. Yeah.
Hi there. As we were doing this, going through Dave's ideas last week, I think I got selected to present this slide simply because I told him at the time, this is the one slide where I really didn't have anything that I couldn't agree with. The other slides, there was a lot of, there's 2 sides or 3 sides to every point on those. And the longer you've been here, the more experience you have, the different types of compensation plans you've experienced. There are some frustrations, there are some good things, and I think these items, we want to have a clear understanding. This is like being in our own classrooms. We expect ourselves to be accountable to our students for making sure that they have a clear understanding of what we expect from them. And when we don't have a clear understanding of how we are being compensated for the job that we are doing, that creates a lot of extra stress in a teacher's life. Annual pay increases, there are several of us that have not had pay increases for 6 to 7 years. That's all I'll say about that. Predictability. Again, that goes along with knowing exactly where you're going and what can you expect. How can we plan our home budgets if we aren't sure what our take-home pay is going to look like?
I need to interrupt for
Sure.
just a second? If you all look at the bottom on the far left slide, chart paper here, someone, I don't know, look at one of the people wrote, need a way to predict future income. If I do X, I will earn Y. That is something that you can sometimes have, but not always, okay? If you're in sales, you'll know if I sell a certain dollar amount, then I'm gonna get this much commission, but I don't know whether or not I'm gonna sell that much dollar amount. That is to earn that commission. So we try and address that if we can, but not always.
Mhm.
Okay?
Reward longevity and teacher skill and competence. Again, I think you have, well, I don't think, I know you have a number of teachers who feel as though, you know, when we started, we were, you know, encouraged to spend our life's work here, commit to this district, and spend our career here. And there are many of us that have, and with the way that we have been compensated over the past few years, many of us wonder why we did that, because it feels like we're getting slapped in the face at every turn we go to. You know, many of us are highly skilled. Again, there doesn't seem to be any reward for being highly skilled and competent. I mean, obviously, if we're doing something wrong and we're not competent to do our job, that's a different story. Eliminate required PD hours, 15 annual. Dave talked about the PD hours. Personally, I am under the idea that I don't mind doing PD hours. I think, as Dave said, in order to continue to be a good teacher, you need to brush up on your skills. It's important to know what's happening outside of your district, and it's important to keep up to date with new ways of doing things. But I think the way, with the 15 hours that we were given prior, it was more like a gotcha system where if you don't get those 15 hours, we're gonna get you. And you can't do it here, and you can't do it there, and you can't do it there. And so what you were left with was very discerning to a lot of people, because not everybody has lots of opportunities to fit those PD hours into these nice little neat boxes. And so I don't think people are wanting to not necessarily keep up to date on things. I think we're asking for more flexibility in what that looks like. And then evaluations, observations determine skill development needs and continued employment, not compensation. In our prior compensation plan that we had, it was all about points, and it truly was a gotcha mentality. I welcome feedback. I welcome constructive criticism. I don't welcome hammer down, we're gonna get you. It's not what I signed up for. It doesn't make me feel like a valued employee. It doesn't make me feel like I'm appreciated. It doesn't make, and that's from our own district. And I don't wanna feel that way, because even though I've been here a long time, and I feel like there's been a lot of gotcha things going on, I truly believe that we do have a great district, and we do have great teachers here, and we do have a lot of great opportunities for our students that I want to see continue. But people can only hold on to the rope for so long.
Well, thank you.
Sure.